Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to my channel. Today is episode 9 of GCP Zero to Hero series, and in this episode, we will deep dive into Google Cloud CLI. So basically, we'll try to understand how cloud engineers make use of Google Cloud CLI and what kind of activities do they perform on day-to-day basis. If you are a beginner, you will absolutely love this video because in today's video, I will start with explaining what is command line interface, what is Google Cloud command line interface, how do you authenticate with your Google Cloud account using GCloud CLI, how do you set up the initial configuration, and finally, how do you create and manage resources using GCloud CLI. As cloud engineers, you have two options. You can create resources using UI, also using CLI. Which one is better? We will also cover that in today's video. It's definitely going to be an insightful video, so make sure you watch it till the end. Now, after watching this video, if you want to practice things at your end, just head to this GitHub repository, look at the Day-9 folder. You will find a README file with all the commands that I execute in today's video. You can use it for your revision or also for your quick reference. Perfect. Now let's head to the whiteboard and start with understanding what exactly is CLI. I'm pretty sure as cloud engineers, you must have heard of this term called CLI because whether you're learning Docker or you're learning Kubernetes, AWS, Azure, GCP, most of the DevOps and cloud platforms today support CLI. So CLI is basically command line interface. Now, what does that mean? I'll try to make it simple for you. So these platforms, again, like GCP or Docker, or it can be Jira, observability platforms like Prometheus. There are three ways to access these platforms. Number one is through the user interface, the one that we have been using in the last 8 episodes. To create resources, it can be storage, it can be compute. We were using the Google Cloud Console. We were trying to find out the resource, and through some steps in the UI, we were creating those resources. But honestly, when you want to create many resources, let's say you're asked to create 10 virtual machines, 10 GCS buckets, 10 firewall configuration, VPC configuration, you will find it difficult through user interface because you have to spend a lot of time. Maybe you will end up spending the whole day just creating these resources because through user interface, automation is difficult. Of course, user interface is very easy for beginners, but it is not automation friendly. So that's why what cloud platforms or these DevOps and cloud platforms have done, they have come up with something called API. Now, API is second way of accessing these resources. API definitely solve this problem because developers can now write code. Developers can use Java, developers can use Golang, Python. Within their code, they can use the API that is provided by these platforms and they can automate the resource creation, right? So Google Cloud Platform provides Compute Engine API. You must have seen. So developers make use of this Compute Engine API within the code. They go to the documentation of Compute Engine API. They look at what kind of input should be passed in the code, and they create virtual machine or storage, anything on the cloud platform. Now, if multiple resources have to be created, they just use for loop or while loop or any kind of conditional handling within the code. Now, the problem with APIs is that, of course, it is automation friendly, but you need to have knowledge of writing the code. If you come from a non-coding background, APIs are not user friendly. Typically, a lot of cloud engineers or QA engineers, these people don't come from coding background, So using APIs is not their cup of tea. So in this case, cloud platforms, again, most of the DevOps and cloud platforms, they offer something called CLI, which is what we are learning in today's video. CLI stands for command line interface. What exactly CLI does? So CLIs are binaries. Again, it is the responsibility of these platforms to provide these binaries. As cloud engineers, you don't build or you don't create these binaries. All that you do is you download the binaries in the specified location provided by the platforms. In case of GCP, the binary name is GCloud. So GCloud is a binary that is provided. Now cloud engineers, they just have to download and install this binary, and they have to pass parameters to this binary or arguments to this binary. Very simple example. On Google Cloud Platform, if a cloud engineer wants to list virtual machines that are created, first step, cloud engineer will download and install the GCloud. Second step, once it is installed and configured, to this GCloud command, cloud engineer will just pass the parameters, something like GCloud compute instances list. That's it. This will return response either in the JSON format, YAML format. No, the typical format is the plain format that you would understand. So GCloud will take these arguments and on your behalf, it will make API cloud with your cloud platform. You cannot see the underlying code. So basically, GCloud is an application. As I told you, it's a binary. It takes these parameters as input or arguments as input, and it will make an API call to the cloud provider on your behalf. So this is where GCloud brings two important things, or CLI brings two important things. One, automation friendly. Two, user friendly. So it has taken advantages of the user interface approach and advantages of the API approach. Also, it removed the disadvantages of both approaches. So this is where CLIs have become very, very popular. They are automation friendly. They are also user friendly. I will show you how to install, how to download, how to configure it. But what Google Cloud Platform has done, typically most cloud platforms do it today. So they went a step ahead and they said, so you don't have to install or download GCloud. I will provide you a service called Cloud Shell. So on the cloud platform, here you will find this service. No matter where you are, which resource are you dealing with, you will find this icon. And once you click this icon, Cloud Shell gets activated. So a virtual machine is created for you. Typically, a virtual machine or an instance get created for you. And on this instance, GCloud is already installed. So when I enter the command GCloud, you can see, right here, you can see the output. That means on this instance, GCloud is already available. Now, this is the simplicity that GCP is providing to you. But if you don't want to use it, you can definitely go ahead. You can download GCloud, you can install it, and you can run it on your laptop as well. But first step is start with Cloud Shell. Because in this case, you don't have to download, you don't have to install, you don't have to authenticate. It is super secure because only you can use it on your account. The credentials, once you click on the authorize button, it takes your credentials, it only grants the permissions that you have, and you can run the commands that you are authorized to run. So Cloud Shell is a very good utility that is provided by GCP platform. Let's first understand how can we learn the GCloud commands. And next step, I will show you, if you don't want to use Cloud Shell, how you can download and install it on your laptop. Right? First, let's focus on understanding how to learn these commands. Because if you remember, here on the notepad, I mentioned the command to list the virtual machines is GCloud compute instances list. Let's verify that if it is true. So if I run GCloud compute instances list, awesome. So I can see list of instances. What is the name of the instance? What is the zone of the instance? Machine type, internal IP. There is no external IP, it says. And also the status of the machine. Now, if I have to do this through the user interface, first I have to search for VMs. Okay. Then I have to go for one of the virtual machines here. You will find the same virtual machines. I have to click on this and I have to go through the description to find these things. This is somehow automated with GCloud because even if you have 100 instances, 1000 instances, you just have to run this command and you will get the output. If you provide greater than symbol and you can just copy it to out.txt. If you want, you can also share it with anyone who is requesting it. Cat out.txt. Now the question is, Abhishek, how did you learn this command? Honestly, I personally don't remember any of these commands because remembering it is absolutely waste of your time. If you spend time remembering these commands, there is no use. Instead, you can just head to the Google Cloud documentation. So I will share you this documentation link. So this one has the steps or the commands that you need with respect to all the GCP services, all the GCP resources, right? So click on get started here in this or just head to the references and look for commands related to your particular resource. For example, my manager asked me to create a virtual machine. I went to the references on this page. I'll click on GCloud reference. I will search for compute. These are all the resources. Access approval, AI, alpha. Let's go to the compute. I will scroll down. Perfect. Compute is here. Now I have to look for virtual machines. If I have to create virtual machine. So scroll down till we find V. Okay, so these are zones. Okay, I have to search for instances, my bad. So this is the place where we have instances. And here, let's look for create instances. Perfect. So I have clicked on create and you will see a documentation for Google Cloud Platform instance creation. So I can just come here, scroll down, look at all the parameters. There are also examples. I'll copy this example and I will paste it on my Cloud Shell. That's it. Now a virtual machine will be created for me. We can quickly verify. Okay, so I'll keep these options default. Relite is a family, rel cloud. Name of the instance will be example instance. I'll keep everything same. I'll just run this command. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the command is getting executed. It's taking time. All right. It says created. These are the details. Let's confirm. We'll again click on the VM instances. This time we see example instance. This is how easy it is. Don't remember any of these commands. Just go to the documentation, look for the steps and run these commands. Of course, you know, if you are a cloud engineer in a company, if you keep using certain commands, you might remember those commands, but that is without any extra effort. If you remember commands like this, which you execute on day-to-day basis, it is absolutely fine. But don't put any extra effort remembering these commands. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. Now we'll try one more, right? So we looked at compute. Now let's try for cloud storage. Let's try to create a bucket. Again, I will go to GCloud reference, but this time I will not look for compute. I will look for storage. So scroll down till we see S. Okay. Storage. GCloud storage. Let's look for buckets. And within the bucket, let's look for create. It's looking for the bucket creation page. Great. So here is the page. These are the different options to create a bucket. I will scroll down for examples, and this is the command for creating a bucket. So here it is creating two buckets. I'll just create one bucket and see if it works. Again, go back to GCloud CLI. We all know the bucket name has to be unique. So I'll just say demo cloud shell bucket 123. I hope this is unique enough. Okay, it says bucket is created. Let's search for it. Storage, cloud storage, buckets. Perfect. So we have this bucket created, demo cloud shell bucket 123. Awesome. So we can create any resources. In fact, we can manage the resources, not only creation. You can head to this documentation. Instead of create, you can search for delete, right? So you can write a script for creation. You can write a script for deletion, or within the same script. So you can write a simple shell script. If that shell script takes create as input, you can create the bucket. If that shell script takes delete as input, you can just delete the bucket. You can also do that if you know shell scripting, right? So this is the level of flexibility that CLI offers you. Under the hood, it's actually making an API command, but you don't have to bother how that API command is made. You just need to know how to run these commands. Now, Abhishek, going back, what if I don't want to use Cloud Shell? Of course, it's a good practice to use Cloud Shell, but in some organizations, you might not get UI access. If you don't get the UI access, typically you cannot access this Cloud Shell. In such cases, go back to this documentation and look for GCloud CLI installation. Okay, so head to the guides. So here you have install GCloud CLI. I'll put this link in the description. You don't have to search for it. And according to your operating system, if you're on Windows, click on this. I am on macOS, so I will click on this button. And these are the steps to install GCloud CLI. Okay, so what is the first step? I need to have Python installed. Otherwise, I have to install Python. I have Python installed. So according to my macOS flavor, so in my case, I'm using 64-bit ARM64 Apple Silicon processor. So I'll just click on this button. It downloads the tar file. And using this command, I can extract the tar file. And once that is done, once the tar file is extracted, I just have to run install.sh command on that particular extracted tar file. Cool. So the tar file is extracted. In your case, if you're using Linux, please don't follow these steps. You have to go with different one. This is my terminal. CD, downloads. Okay, not this. Looks like the command is not copied. Let's try one more time. Cool. Great. So now the tar file is being extracted. Once it is extracted, I will just run this command. Install.sh. Okay. Welcome to Google Cloud CLI. Do you want to improve the Google Cloud CLI? I mean, do you want to help improve the Google Cloud CLI? Let's just say yes. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay, cool. Let it be there. That's it. So within a couple of minutes, we will have Google Cloud CLI installed on our personal machine. Now we are not using Cloud Shell. We are just using our personal machine. Of course, it is asking for administrative privileges because it downloads and sets up some packages at the root level. Let's provide the password for it. Okay, we have it installed. Let's see what is the next command. Next command is to initialize your GCloud. But Abhishek, why do you have to initialize? I haven't run this command when I was using Cloud Shell, because Cloud Shell is a pre-configured instance for you. Within this instance, GCloud is installed and GCloud is already configured. Authentication is also provided. You don't have to do anything. But on your personal machine, you have to first initialize the configuration. So it says you must first sign in. Let's sign in. Cool. So I have provided my user ID and it says now you have authenticated. What does it say? Pick up the project that you have to or that you are currently working on. I'll select one. So your current project is set. Do you want to configure a default compute region and zone? You can say yes and configure a region that you are looking for. In my case, I'll just go with 38. Yeah, I mean, I'll just pick up a region. I don't remember which one exactly is Mumbai. Anyways, I'll just pick up a region and that's it. Now I have GCloud ready on my machine. So till now, I have exactly done what Google Cloud Provider already has done for me using the Cloud Shell. So now I can run GCloud. Let's see if the output is exactly the same. So I'll just run GCloud compute instances list. My bad. So I have to just run this one here. Now GCloud compute instances list. Of course, we can just set an alias for it, right? I just have to define an alias for it. And once the alias is defined, something like this, alias GCloud is equals to this one here. And I can rerun the command GCloud compute instances list. We will see the exact same output. Right? We can create bucket from here. We can create compute instances for here. That remains same whether you're doing through the Cloud Shell or whether you're doing it through your terminal. Right? I hope you understood how you want to or how you can use GCloud on your day-to-day basis. This is exactly how Cloud Engineers also does. You just have to get acquainted with this documentation, spend some time, go through different resources that it supports, look at a couple of references, and either on your Cloud Shell or on your personal machine, try to create few resources and end of the day, try to disable the billing and delete the project so that you can just master GCloud CLI. Finally, when should you go for UI and when should you go for CLI? This is a common question. Answer is very simple. UI comes with flexibility, as I told during the introduction as well. UI comes with flexibility, but if you're working on multiple resource creation, you cannot automate things through UI. So in such case, it's a big no. If you're looking for a single instance creation, or if you want to quickly check something on the platform, yes, you can just go to the UI and quickly do that. But if you're working on repetitive tasks, if you're working on creating multiple resources, if you're using cloud platform on your day-to-day activities, then you should go for GCloud. Because GCloud can do things fast for you. In the meanwhile, you can work on some other activity. But if you're working on UI, you have to wait. You have to click multiple buttons. You have to provide names as input. So you just have to wait on that particular task till it is done. But if you're using the CLI, you can just fire command and then you can go back and do whatever other tasks that you're working on. Right? So this is the difference between UI and CLI. I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. See you all in the next video. Take care. Bye bye, everyone.